creatives. So today I just wanted to talk a little about my journey and just like I guess I would say my spiritual journey. I'm just sometimes I have a really hard time just finding myself and realizing this is who I am because of all the outer distractions and the outer just hey, do this. This is really important. Hey, do that. And just one of them include Bible study. I was doing so much Bible study and I was doing it every week and everything. And then my life coach came into my life and just kind of just shifted the light or shifted the space that I was in and basically gave me what I needed to hear at that time, which was basically, hey, everything you're doing is correct, but at the same time, is therapy really going to change you? Because at the end of the day, you really have to look within and figure out what you really need. So one of the things that I was really ashamed of when I was figuring out who I was when I told my boyfriend that I was not gonna keep doing Bible study. And I felt really ashamed about the idea. And now when I think about that idea of hey, shedding my old skin for this new skin, I don't regret it at all because when I'm learning every single day in the steps that I do, everything that I'm doing just vibrates with my soul and just tells me hey, you're doing the right thing, you're connecting with the right people, you're just making so many moves. And I just feel wow, I didn't know so many things. And when I enter this space oh, I'm gonna do YouTube, I'm gonna change people, I'm gonna help people change their mindsets and just have better mindsets. I didn't realize that there was so much about me that needed to change too in order to just become someone that was, I guess, better. Something that I just really figured out was that like it's okay. The whole time that other people are God is a big deal. Well, God is where I'm from and this is what I'm made of. A lot of people talking about Christianity and stuff. It's just I don't know why, but when I have clients or when I have anyone that starts talking to me about Christianity and how much they believe in Christianity, it just kind of just turns me off and makes me realize I think you haven't seen what's there. And it just makes me think hey, yeah, you have God, but I don't think you've seen the next part of life. And that's the part where the journey begins, where you try to look within and find out who you are. And as I'm doing this and looking at who I am and taking a close look and just understanding what I did and all the embarrassing or horrible things that I did, they were the reasons I did them were important to me, but also at the same time they were me when I was unawakened. So it's yeah, I did horrible things, but at the same time I hadn't found my soul yet. And just realizing that about myself and realizing I'm okay and all the embarrassing stuff I had done, it was because of my trauma. It was because of everything that my inner child had kind of just suffocated and just kind of wrapped up and took away because it wasn't safe to reciprocate. It wasn't safe to tell people what my ideas were. It wasn't safe to give what I wanted to give. And now that I'm realizing all of that, I just feel like so proud of myself for everything that I have discovered, for my path, my journey of just this, because I have a really hard time describing it sometimes. It's like there's parts of me that like really want to keep doing more. And then there's times like when I would feel like, oh, I have learned a lot, but my knowledge isn't like growing anymore. And that's when I have to shift my focus and realize what more do I have to do to get to where I am, to get to realize like the higher being, to like actually like get more knowledge and figure out like what more do I teach? What more do I figure out about myself in order to let others know like this is happening? I don't really like calling myself like a teacher because I think of myself as a peer, as someone that just like is just like everyone else, and I'm just noticing these things and that a lot of people haven't figured out yet. And it's just time. It's time to tell everyone, to tell them about, hey, it's like the 40-hour work week is messed up. And if I think it's messed up, like it's okay to have my feelings about it. Um so like what you believe is correct, and there is a specific timing for everything. So like when a few years ago when I was talking to this girl that was supposedly my life coach, like it was like we were both like people and we were both suffering and really sad. And now like we're just like going into a new road of life and just realizing like wow, there's so much the world has to offer. There's so much to learn. And it's just like unbelievable. Like, I didn't realize all the soft skills I needed to learn until I started my, like, I guess, outreach. Because as soon as I opened myself up to hearing what others had to say, opening myself up to like listening and just actually hearing what others are saying, that's when I realized how much power is in the words, how much power is in like speech, and how much knowledge someone can bring you through like books and YouTube, even, and just like I think for a long time we have used streams of media for a way of like distraction too. And there's a whole nother side of that. Like, yes, you can distract yourself, but also you can learn from that. You can learn from the distractions. Like on YouTube, there's so many niches and everything. And there's the niche of like, hey, I'm going to make pranks on people. And then there's the stuff that's like, oh, spiritual awakening, or like finding out the inner peace, and like what you are eating is actually like eating meat is actually not what we were meant to do. Like learning all these things about like who I was and am today, and just like tapping into my inner energy and like looking into my past selves and realizing like the characters I was like back then, and having someone validate me about like yes, like I was these people, and the reason that I'm having a hard time now is because I was these people. So now I'm trying to become who I am again and learn that like who I am is okay, and also like start becoming like the master at this. So just realizing like how much growing up, or I wouldn't even call it growing up, how much growth I have to do in order to become a more knowledgeable person, to become someone that's like ready to hear anything and ready to hear like more knowledge. It's it's really turned me into a really safe space of like just happiness and light. And like for a long time I always wished that I would be a place of light and positivity. And within 3 months, I got to there. And I didn't even realize, like, oh my God, I got there. And I am, like, when I go into little spaces and talk about my experiences, like, I'm just dropping jewels, and I'm dropping all this knowledge about just and being a space of light. And it's just, I think it's so important for for people to start figuring out, like, who they really are, who were their past selves, and who are they going to keep going on to be, and who are they going to inspire. So yeah, if this resonated with you, I would love for you to stay here a while. So subscribe and maybe even like the video. And I'll see you in the next video.